Americon Industrial Services presents Kim Boccia.
Thank you. Hi everyone. Thank you for coming to Kim's Just Asking. I'm very excited to be here today. I have a great show for you, and I think I'm a little excited to be here because on my way here I almost got a ticket. At least I thought I did. He let me go with a warning, believe it or not. I didn't even get the ticket. I know. My husband was more excited than I was because it probably saved him about $180 in fines. But anyway, he let me go, and I think it's because he did appreciate that I was honest, and he makes mistakes too. Which brings me to my topic today. We have a guest on the show that is also a police officer from the Poland Township Police Department, and I've got a great show. And before that, the officer let me go on a ride along with him. And as daring as it was, I made it out alive, and so did he. And it's very funny. So watch this, and we'll be right back with our guests afterwards. Thank you. I'm here with 3 of the Youngstown Phantom hockey players. They just got off the bus from Green Bay, Wisconsin, where they played in the Tier 1 Hockey League playoffs. How'd you guys do?
We lost Wednesday night, but we won last night, so we played pretty well, and I look forward to the weekend.
Great. Did you make the goal?
I did. Scored the 3rd goal.
Hey, so good for you. Any fights?
We actually had 2 fights, and they were pretty good, and hopefully we can have some more on Saturday.
My husband loves the fights. Did you check anyone, Alfred?
I usually hit as many people as I can.
This is Alfred Larson, by the way, and this is John Pizzolo, and we also have Sam Anasi here. Sam, if you won one, lost one, what does that mean as far as the playoffs go?
Well, it's a best of 5 series, so coming back home now with 1-1. We've got 2 games at home. Hopefully we can wrap up the series at home and not have to go back to Green Bay.
That would be great. So you have 2 games. There's a Saturday game at 7:15 and there's a Sunday game at 4 o'clock, correct? We want everybody to come down in Youngstown to support our team. I mean, we have our own hockey team in Youngstown. So we want to show them all of our support if we can. And remember, it's a great family event. It's not just a hockey game that you get to watch and a lot of good fights, Alfred. It's also got some great entertainment throughout. It keeps the kids involved, and there's a lot of fun. And I know I'll be there. I'm always at the home games. Probably too many home games. You guys all know me too well. So hopefully we'll see everybody tonight. Come on down and support your team. Hi everyone, I'm here with Chief Brian Gooden of the Poland Township Police Department. Brian has been kind enough today to come out with me on a ride along so that we can get a little bit more knowledge of the technology and the thought that goes into your job. You know, we have a lot of misconceptions out there as to the bad police, you know, trying to get everybody and doing it for the wrong reasons when it comes to a speed limit. And after talking to you and having a conversation with you, I find out that there's a lot that goes into it, not just the fact that you're just trying to look to write us some tickets. Right. Which, by the way, I never speed and I've never had a ticket. Don't look that up. But anyway, we're going to go out on an adventure and let's go get us some speeders.
Okay,
let's
go.
Let's do it. When do I get my gun? Look at you yelling at me.
Let me shut that off before you squeeze the button and you're over here laughing and everybody's wondering what's going on.
Oh my God.
He was doing 48 till he saw you or us, and then now he's
now look at him slowing down. Big sissy, now you're only doing 35. It's 40 miles an hour. Hey, that was my friend Tom. Hi, Tom. Okay. Well, here comes the mailman. He's speeding! He was!
44.
Alright, we don't want to tell him his name, I might get fired. Got him! Damn, we got him! He's speeding! Woo! This baby's hot! Call Charlie. They're missing their 4th angel. I always wanted to be Jacqueline Smith. All right. All right. Well, Chief Gooden, I just wanted to thank you so much. It was very fun riding with you today. Actually, it's really informational, so I can't wait till we're going to talk some more and go over everything that you know, because I didn't know so much thought went into it. You know, it's a big job, and I just really appreciate you doing it. So thank you.
Welcome.
And thanks for always keeping us safe. I really, I feel good knowing that you're in charge. So,
No problem.
Thank you. I'm here with my mom today, and we're going to do our own speed test. My mom has been upset because it looks like my dad's flying down the street when he comes down here, and it's only 25 miles per hour on your street,
Yes.
right, Mom? And I think he's not doing too much over, but it just makes a big difference when you just do a few miles over.
Exactly.
So we're going to do our own speed test, and we're going to see how this works when you come down the street at 25 miles per hour first.
All right.
And then we'll have you put a little pedal to the metal and then come back down at 30 miles per hour.
Okay,
And
I
we'll
can
see
do
if
that.
we can tell a difference.
All right.
All right, while you're doing that, I'm going to get my crew and we're going to go sit over here.
Okay.
And you can show us the show.
All right,
We'll
I
watch
can
it.
do that.
All right, ready?
Okay.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Ready, Mom?
Ready.
Okay, guys, everybody ready for the show?
We're ready.
We're going to get to see Grandma speeding down the street. So, anybody want water, popcorn? You want some popcorn, sweetie? Everybody's ready?
good.
All right, you
Ready.
got
Go,
your
Grandma.
whoppers? All right, we're going to get ready for the show, everybody.
Go, Grandma.
Okay, that's 25. I'm gonna go around for 30 now.
The pedal to the metal, Grandma. Lower it.
Oh no! Cops are coming.
Oh no, the po-po.
Oh no, I can't believe it. Officer, was I speeding?
For my first guest, I'd like to welcome the Poland Township's Chief of Police, Brian Gooden. Hi, Ryan. Brian, I really appreciate that you came on the show today, especially after our little ride along. I was afraid that maybe you wouldn't show up.
I would be here.
Yeah, thank you. All right, now let me get to the topic at hand. The speed limits. Okay, there's a lot of myths, a lot of talk, you know, and I know that you guys get a bad rap as far as enforcing the speed, okay? But how do you decide what the speed limit is on a certain street? Do you just get to pick as the chief of police?
Well, a lot of people think I have that power. I get calls from people asking if they can ride their four-wheelers on the road, if I give them permission. And unfortunately, I don't have that kind of power within the laws, but it's all set and governed by laws. Rural areas, usually they're 40, 45. More residential, they're 25 and 35. As you grew up in Poland, Dobbins Road used to be pretty much country setting, only a few homes, and it was always set at 40. That's never changed, even though there's more homes on there. But a lot of those roads that people don't understand within our township are county roads.
Right.
And they have their own guidelines they set, same as do the state. And the township follows theirs too, which are, most of ours are the side roads where the more residential streets are. And those, most of those are 25 for the reason of, you know, they're not very long, so you don't want to be traveling at 55 miles an hour and 100 feet.
Yeah.
A lot of kids playing and things like that. So
For
they're set at
safety.
a reasonable speed for safety.
Now you mentioned Dobbins Road, which is kind of funny because when you go right around where that Klingon is, when you go around that bend, I think my daughter takes that on two wheels sometimes. So, you know, if you didn't think that that road was set an appropriate speed, can you make it a request? Who do you call?
Well, being that that's a county road, they would have to do a study on that, and they set out strips to see how fast cars go, and they determine based on our accident reports when we file them with the state, The county goes on a website and they see how many accidents occurred in that location, and if they see there's a lot or fatalities, they'll lower the speed limit to, you know, to curb that problem and to hopefully resolve that there's no more accidents there or, you know, crashes, whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, I find it really interesting that you have to go through so much paperwork and so many technicalities to get that done, because you just think, oh, you know, the police officer just goes to work and just writes tickets. But there's really a lot to it. And I was really fascinated when I came in and we spoke about the speed limits on how much technology you have. 5 miles an hour makes a big difference when you're on a 25-mile-per-hour street. Okay, it doesn't seem so much of a difference when you're 40, 45. But if you see somebody on a 40-mile-an-hour street and they're doing about 5, 6 miles over, I mean, do you give them a ticket just because? Or, I mean, do you know? Because sometimes I forget to look at my speedometer. I'm talking, I look, and then I go, oh, wow, I'm up to 45.
There's, I mean, every officer has their own discretion on what they would cite for. Most officers wouldn't cite for 5 miles an hour over, unless we're in one of our, what we call our areas of heavy complaints of speeding. We get a lot on a cut through of a 25-mile-an-hour zone. Like you said, if they're doing 5 over, or even 35 in a residential, if we get a lot of complaints from the residents that say that they're speeding there,
right,
and depending on how many, if they've have gotten warnings before, we might give tickets for 5 miles an hour over. But normally, we give them a little bit of cushion, because there are, you know, when you're in a car, like you said, not everyone would be looking at their speedometer. If you did, everybody would be crashing because they're looking down all the time.
Exactly.
So there's some leeway to that.
Well, you know, when I'm putting on my lipstick over this way and I'm looking at the speedometer, who's looking at the road? Yeah, exactly. You know, I got to be multitasking. You know, right? Not me. So basically what you're telling me is that you're not out just to write a bunch of tickets, because I know that all of America thinks that there's a quota that you have to make it every month, and that on the 28th and 29th you're all out to get us. And it's, oh, I've said it a couple times, oh, it's the end of the month, they're writing tickets. Is that true? Do you have a quota to meet?
No, if I did, you know, the officers would be writing a lot of tickets, because as I always tell people that try to give me that, I says, look, if I write you a ticket, I don't win a toaster. If you're my, you know, you're my 100th ticket for the month. There's no quotas. It's officer discretion. We don't push, you know, how many tickets they have to write.
When you see a police car that's repeatedly sitting on one street, you know, we think, oh, you know, why are they sitting there? Maybe you don't like the Smiths that live on that street, so you're just trying to give them a hard time. But to my surprise, there's more method to your madness. You have more technology to back that up as well.
Right. Normally, if they see us in the same area, that's obviously one of our areas we've had complaints. As you could tell, on most streets, there's only so many places we can sit to run the radars, as you saw when we went out and did that the other day.
Yeah, I did that gun. That was good.
Yeah. People were probably wondering what. I'm surprised I didn't get any phone calls today.
That one lady, I was buzzing at her.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that call.
Yeah, you'll get that one, I'm sure.
I'll pass that one off to the trustee.
Yeah, someone.
But yeah, we also a device that we purchased a few years ago. It's a device that I don't show too many people what it looks like. But if I get complaints in an area, I can put it up on a telephone pole, and it actually clocks cars, and it tells me the time of the day that they went through, how fast they were going. So when somebody always says that there's cars speeding there and you ask when, they say all day, all night. Right. Because they want us to sit there. I can pull this up, and I can pull a printout, shows me the time of the day that the cars are speeding, and I can assign an officer during that time, so we're not wasting all the time sitting in one area, because we have a lot of area to cover. Right, right.
Well, I know that you said that you don't like to put up the bigger trailers that say the speed, because you said a lot of kids try to...
Right. We had problems where when we would put that on the side of the road, we actually had kids driving faster to see how fast they were going, because it would flash your speed like you see on interstates. So
I think I know a few of those kids. Yeah. I really find it fascinating when you use that device and then you have the graph that shows you everything, that it's not just you looking to be the big bad cop that you are. Yeah, but you know, there's some reasons, and I really appreciate that you came on, because I really am an avid believer If you do the crime, you do the time, and if I don't get caught, then I'm okay. But anyway, I just think that it's important that people know. So when we're bagging on the police for having, writing tickets for going through the middle of the town and you're speeding, it's for a reason. They're trying to keep everybody safe. So when you're trying to outsmart them or hide from them or speed when you think they're not looking, they are so smart. And he has shown me some things even in the clip that you saw that it's more to it, and that we need to abide by the speed limits as much as we possibly can unless we're putting on our lipstick, and do that for everybody else's safety, for my kids, for your kids, for everybody out there. So I really appreciate that, you know, you take it so seriously and that you really give it good thought, and I really like that you let me play with the radar gun.
You're welcome.
You're good. So thank you so much for coming and giving so much of your time to me this week. So we're going to cut to a commercial, and when we come back from break, everybody, we're going to have Judge Dapolito on. The Honorable Judge Dapolito. Yes. Dr. Schmetterer is now performing a new procedure to cure varicose veins, performed right in his office with no anesthesia necessary. Dr. Schmetterer, who would be the ideal patient for this type of procedure?
Well, Kim, a patient for this procedure would have venous insufficiency, which is leakage of the veins in the leg, and that causes varicose veins to enlarge. It can also cause a variety of symptoms like burning, itching, stinging, throbbing, aching, or even restless legs.
Oh, okay, like the restless leg syndrome I hear about.
Yep.
Okay, so what do? Do you actually just cut the vein out?
Well, we used to do an operation called stripping where we'd pull the vein out, but it was kind of painful and left the leg very swollen and discolored.
Okay.
We don't do that anymore. We have a little catheter that threads up the vein and seals the vein from the inside and shuts off the leak.
Wow. And you do all that right here in your office?
Right here in the office.
So there's no real anesthesia, and there's minimal scarring, if any, and then they can walk out that same day?
They can walk out the same day.
Wow, that's great.
In fact, we just finished a procedure on Nancy. We did her lesser saphenous vein, and she's getting ready to leave. You better believe it.
You're actually going to get up and walk out of here today.
Oh, yeah.
And where are you headed?
I'm going to go get my hair cut.
You are?
Yes.
Can I see you walk on your leg if you don't
Sure.
mind? And that's all right with you, right?
That's
Well,
fine.
that's fabulous. I think that's a great procedure, and if I was in that situation, I'd do it right away. So call Dr. Schmetterer's office for your consultation with him at 743-3604. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Kim's Just Asking. I'd like to welcome, and if you would welcome my next guest, the Honorable Judge Dapolito.
Thank you, Kim.
Yes, you're very welcome.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you're here, and I really appreciate that you came on the show for me. I know you're a very busy man.
Well, I had no choice. My son said, you know,
Well,
Kim asked you to be on the show.
Exactly.
And my daughter-in-law said, Kim asked you to be.
Yes.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Judge Dapolito's daughter-in-law is my best friend, one of my best friends, and his son I went to school with, and we graduated together. He doesn't take me very seriously.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. He doesn't take me very seriously.
Right, right. So we've known each other for almost 30 years. I
Yes.
hate to say it.
You were just a child.
Yes, but I just want to put in there that I'm still younger than Chief Gooden.
Yes, you are. Sure.
Just
By a few.
by a few. Right, we'll go with that one. Well, I really appreciate that you came on the show, and I wanted to congratulate you for being reelected. I voted for you.
That. Thank you.
Yeah?
You put me over the top.
Yeah, I did. I did. So,
appreciate it.
yeah, I felt like I did my part.
Thank you.
So, if I'm ever in front of you, you can give me a little leeway,
Well,
right?
you get a little probation, I think. Yeah, I think so.
I'm actually surprised I've never had to appear before you before.
I'm a little surprised myself.
Yeah. Yeah, real funny.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm a different person. I have children now. I have to be respectful,
see.
and I have to follow the law. And well, when I was calling you to be on the show, it was kind of confusing because I always referred to you as Mr. Dapolito. So I wanted to send you an email, and I think a lot of people probably don't know that correct way to greet you now? Is it Judge Dapolito? Do I have to bow and say Your Honor? You know, how do we do that now?
You don't.
I can, okay.
No, you know, I think that depends how long someone's known you. I have folks that I've known my whole life, and
right.
if they see me, and they call me Lou.
Judge, I know that you don't see people for traffic violations. They don't.
Not for speed.
Not for
but I
speed.
do see them, you know, if there's an accident caused because of speed, possibly, and maybe texting and phone calls or drugs or alcohol.
Right.
But no, our court handles felony cases, which are more serious generally.
Oh, like murders?
Like murders, yes. Yes.
Did you ever arrest a murderer?
Through the task force when I was part of the violent crimes task force.
Oh, that's not the answer I expected. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that's a shame that we have to deal with that in our communities around here. But they're very safe, which I thank you for. But you did represent people as a lawyer.
For many years, I represented folks with speeding tickets because it impacts on insurance and liabilities for accidents and stuff like that. So yeah, I have.
Okay, I bet you had a few shady characters
I
in your day.
actually had one you know well that I represented.
And I really appreciate that you kept my husband out of jail. Yeah.
It was a very minor matter. But I think that people will find, I think the community knows that judges are pretty open-minded, and that if someone comes to court with a legitimate complaint or a legitimate reason why they may have been speeding, or maybe they weren't speeding,
right.
that the law says that their voice is just as important as the policeman's or anyone else's. So both of them are judged the same. And I think that the courts do a good job, the courts that handle that, municipal courts and so forth.
Right.
And I think justice is done.
Right.
You haven't got to worry about hurting people.
I have a really important question, and I think that this is why I really wanted you to come on the show.
Yes.
When you do have a speeding ticket and you feel that it's unjust, not that Chief Gooden would ever do that.
Never.
Never.
No.
But if you think you have a valid reason and you want to get a lawyer, you know, if I didn't know your son and be able to call them and say, you know, who's a good lawyer to represent me? Not that I have to do that a lot, but thankfully, you know, how does somebody who's just an ordinary person that doesn't have connections, how do they go about getting a lawyer?
Well, the Monona County Bar Association is really a good resource. If you were to call them and say, I've got a speeding ticket or a traffic matter, can you give me the names of 3 lawyers who practice in that arena, who do that on a daily basis? And they will give you those names, and you can call them. And at that time, you can say, well, you know, what's the cost? What do you charge? How much an hour? Do you charge for a visitation or consultation?
Okay.
And that's how you do it. Other than by word of mouth, everybody seems to know a lawyer.
Well, they do. You would think so, but that's probably just where we are in
Yeah.
our lives. You know, there are a lot of people that just really don't know.
But I do
so
think
if you didn't
that
go to school with somebody, you're kind of lost,
Yes.
you know?
it's a good idea because many courts over the years I have found that if you have someone who's got a wonderful driving record, never been in trouble, a good citizen, you know, just an ordinary good person, and they make a mistake.
Right.
A lawyer might be able to convince the prosecutor or the judge, maybe we can have a legal fiction here, and we can make this speeding ticket, which isn't much over the speed limit, into what we call a no-point violation, maybe an unsafe vehicle, maybe your tail light's out. So it's a fiction, but the courts understand human nature, and they may do that so it doesn't affect your rates for your insurance and so forth. So a lawyer's an important thing. I think it certainly is a good idea.
Right. Now, when you have a speeding ticket and you get a lawyer and you don't get it off or anything and you still have to pay the fine and everything, do you still have to pay the lawyer?
Yeah, when you have an accident case or maybe a contract case, you can have a contingent fee, they call it.
Right.
Where if I get you money, I get a part of it.
Okay.
But you can't do that in the criminal arena, and you can't do that with traffic tickets. The lawyer charges you by the hour or by the job, and you can get that up front determined. And so there's no surprises.
It sounds, but you said the Mahoning County Bar Association. So if anybody needs any help and they, you know, don't have money to or a connection to call somebody, call the Mahoning County Bar Association.
And if somebody is without funds and maybe doesn't have a lot of money, there are lawyers who come on board and do what we call pro bono.
Okay.
They do it for nothing. And the women there, the ladies who run that place, are fantastic. They're lovely, and they're accommodating, and they're very fine. And I just want to add one more thing.
Oh, please do.
The police officers in Mahoney County, by and large, are fantastic.
That's what I think.
They put their lives on the line. They're interested in the safety of the community, and they're underpaid and they're overworked.
Yeah, I really do. That's why I wanted to do a segment on this, and that's why I wrote the column originally in the Neighbors portion of the Vindicator, is because I want people to give you a little more respect on the fact that you're just not looking to, give somebody a ticket or ruin our day. You're just trying to keep us safe.
He has enough toasters.
Yeah, and you know what? He's got
They got to start giving something else out.
No, I do, and I really want my children to know that they can trust the police and that they can go to them, and that they're not, there's always going to be a bad judge or a bad policeman or a bad doctor or a bad waitress. It's in every profession. Yeah. But for the most part, I really appreciate it. Now, real quick, if a police officer doesn't show up for court, do I automatically win?
You do not.
You got to fight it out anyway.
Well,
How there's circumstances?
Not if you didn't show up, they wouldn't put you in jail. They'd schedule it again more than likely. Now, if the policeman or you failed to come a couple of times, you're both in trouble.
Then we're both in trouble,
yes.
So it's just a myth. Well, I thank you very much, Judge Abolito and Chief Gooden, for coming on to the show. I had a great time, and I could sit here and talk to you forever. It's just great information, and I think that you really helped everybody out.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
All right.
All right. Thank you. All right, everybody. We're going to be right back with our home segment with the infamous Victor. Thank you.
If you have low water pressure, it's throughout the home, but if you have it in just one particular area or another, it usually is because there's some sort of clog going on in your faucet head or at your sink nozzle. So what you want to do is, you want to take a strap wrench if you have one. Well, a lot of people don't have a strap wrench, but a lot of people have regular pliers or channel locks, what have you. If you're going to use these, certainly get something to protect the chrome. And basically what you'll find in here are some calcium deposits and things of that nature that just build up over time. Hopefully, all you need to do is bring it over here to your sink. Kind of clean it all out real good. Just give it a good rinse, get all those sandy calcium deposits out of there. If this doesn't do the job, you may want to go out and purchase some CLR, soak it in there. Certainly gets all that stuff out of there, all that grit and grime. And then all you got to do is put it back in reverse.
Hi everyone, we're here at Angels for Animals, and I have two of my friends here. This is Leah and Jake, and they brought two of their furry friends out to meet us that are looking for homes. Jake, who do you have with you today?
This is Kelly. She is about 3 years old.
And who do we have here, Leah?
Fabio, and he's 4 years old.
Did you say Fabio? Yeah. These two are looking for homes, and they're looking for love. And I'd like to tell everybody to use positive reinforcement when training your pets or for behavior issues. Okay, thanks, and spay and neuter your pets.